All right. What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View podcast, and we are back today, and it is NBA playoff day. First day of the NBA playoffs, Saturday, and wow, I am excited. I cannot wait, and we're going to get right into it. First game on the docket. I want to talk about a matchup that people are going back and forth about, but ultimately I'm hearing more people pick the Warriors as the team to win rather than the Rockets. So I feel like we should really just do a deep analysis on this team. And I believe the Rockets just defensive scheme having they switch a lot, right? So they switch a lot. They have guys like Sengu, not Sengu. They have guys like Amin Thompson. They have Jabari Smith. Like these are guys, Dylan Brooks, where they can utilize them on switches. Really good defenders, really good man-to-man defenders that they like to utilize. And when you go back to the previous game against the Warriors, they had Amin Thompson. They had Dylan Brooks on Stephen Curry, and they made it a living hell for Stephen Curry in that game. They were able to prevail in that game overall. Wasn't the greatest offensive game, but your boy Jalen Green had 21 points on good efficiency, shooting the three well. This matchup is, I'll say this. We'll get right into it. But this matchup, to me, as much as I want to believe in the Rockets per se, the X factor for this series, for the Rocket side, is Jalen Green. Wherever Jalen Green goes is where the Rockets are going to go. So what I mean by that is however Jalen Green performs is going to be the Rockets' ceiling. So if Jalen Green dominates the series, I believe the Rockets win. If Jalen Green continues to have bad performances like he's had against the Warriors this entire season, I think he's averaging maybe close to 13 points a game, that's going to be a problem because I believe the Rockets can only overcome one bad performance from one of their players on the starting line, and I'm talking about Fred VanVleet. I don't believe they can overcome two bad performances from Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet because, again, they do have a lot of depth. They can go 1 through like 9 or 10, but you can sub out Fred VanVleet. I don't know if you're able to overcome with Jalen Green. So I say that to say this is just my pick. I originally had the Rockets. Now that we're here, I have the Warriors in, I'm going to go 6. I have the Warriors in 6. I think with the Warriors, they have a lot of limitations. I'm still not the biggest fan of their bench and their depth. And the fact that they're not even playing Jonathan Kuminga is concerning because I thought he was going to be big in their rotation, but he's not. They took him out of the rotation for Quentin Post. I just think this series, we're not going to see their deficiencies aren't going to show this series because of the Rockets' lack of offensive output from Jalen Green, from Fred VanVleet, those type of players. They're going to play great defensively, but ultimately, I think offensively is where they're going to lack the necessary talent to keep up with Golden State that have two shot creators in Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry. And then you also have some dudes like a Buddy Hield, Moses Moody that they can go to. They have, Brandon Podziemski who can shoot the three, who can make some shots. I just think they have too many, compared to the Rockets, they have too many guys that can make shots. And I believe ultimately you couple that with the Warriors' good defense, I don't think the Rockets will be able to overcome it. So that's my pick. What about you? How do you feel?
This is a series, the Unction versus the young fellas, and If I had to pick, well, I have to pick. I'm going to go with the Warriors in 7. And the reason I say 7, and they're going to have to beat the Rockets on the road at game 7. But I'm going to say Warriors in 7 because I like the Rockets. I feel like they have a good foundation. They have good young players. But like you said before, if whoever's going to have to lead the series between a Jalen Green or a Sengun, listen, I don't know if I can really rely on those two to consistently go out there and perform and and win 7 games against a very experienced Warriors team. Shoot, Jimmy Butler just got on the team, but we know how his playoff experience and championship experience goes. And Steve Kerr's a Hall of Fame coach. Steph Curry has 4 rings. Draymond 4 rings. Draymond don't act like he got 4 rings when he's on the court tripping, but that isn't a very experienced team. Only thing my concern with the Warriors is the Rockets will throw. They will have bodies to throw at Steph. They'll have
Absolutely.
a Dylan Brooks. They'll have a Min Thompson who's a pest on defense. Will the other guys on the Warriors outside of Jimmy Butler be able to step up? Will Brandon be able to step up? Will Kaminga get enough tick to even make an impact on the game? Will Moses Moody continue to play well in his role? That's the concerns I'm worried about because the Rockets, while they are young and experienced, they are like a firecracker. You don't know who is going to go off at any given night because that's just the type of team that they have. Now, I'm not too worried about Fred Van Vliet, even though he is experienced. He has won a championship. I'm not too worried about how he'll impact the game. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything ridiculous like in previous years when he was in the playoffs. Fred VanVleet would be sometimes just horrible out there. But I think this will be a close series because the Rockets could get out there and they just run with you. And the Warriors, they would have. And don't let me forget, Ime Udoka is a great coach, and he's
Yes.
been to the finals. He's played in the playoffs, so he can instill that kind of philosophy on these players. It's just on the Rockets players to execute. But this is an experienced coach versus a more experienced coach, but they all have that pedigree. So it's really going to be a chess game and whether the greatness of Steph and Jimmy will elevate the Warriors over the young stars in the Rockets. But so I'm gonna stick with my Warriors in 7 pick.
Okay. No, I mean that's fair. I think Sengun is a mismatch problem for them. I think 1-on-1, there's nobody on the Warriors that can guard him. Just watching some of their previous games, he just dominated. Even Draymond Green, I don't think he can hang with Sengun consistently. So I believe Sengun will have a good series. I just believe it won't be enough because again, Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, they're going to get exposed in the series. Like I'm watching Fred VanVleet versus the Warriors. I'm watching Fred VanVleet against a lot of these good teams, and he's just bricking it up. He's shooting a lot of bricks out there, and he's not impacting the game on even a good level, a decent level. He's a defensive liability because of his size. I just don't like the backcourt of Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green. I could be wrong. Jalen Green might prove me wrong, but I have to see it to believe it. He's only had one good game against the Warriors this season, and it was the previous game, but I think he's going to need more than just 21 points if the Rockets are going to be able to prevail in this series. And I just don't see it because, again, the Warriors are also a good defensive team. And because the Warriors are a good defensive team, I don't think that the Rockets are going to be able to get to any actions. Like offensively, they are anemic. Like there's no identity really besides leaning on Sengun's capabilities. They kind of take a little bit of what Sacramento does with Sabonis and utilize that with Sengun, but ultimately the offensive capabilities are very limited, and they're still working on those things. Tari Eason is really good. I forgot to mention him. He's also a decent defender, a good rotational guy for them. But again, you need dudes that can create for themselves. You need shot creators, and they just don't have enough of it. They have the defense, but you need offensive outputs as well, and they just can't do that. It's too difficult for them, and I believe they won't be able to overcome it. And that's why I have the Warriors It could be in 6. It could be in 7. It doesn't matter. But this playoffs seeding, I think you have to throw it out the window at this point when it comes to this matchup. And I believe at the end, the Warriors will win. The size for the Rockets, I will say, with Adams, with Sengun, will be a problem with the Warriors because the Warriors have a problem with rebounding. But I think that's not going to matter in this case because of the offense, the liabilities on offense for the Rockets. So that's my thoughts on the Rockets versus Warriors. We'll see. I hope the Rockets win the series, but I highly doubt it. They're a young team, but I still think they'll make it interesting, but ultimately the Warriors will prevail in this matchup.
Who gets ejected first, Dylan Brooks or Draymond Green?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I'm gonna go Dylan Brooks. I think Draymond, as hot headed as he can be, he understands the situations in the playoffs. I believe Dylan Brooks can be his worst enemy in the playoffs at times. I mean, we seen it in 2023 with my Lakers, what happened with Dylan Brooks, but I believe he could be his worst enemy. He can be more of a detriment to a team rather than an asset at certain situations when he believes that, oh, I'm the man. I gotta go hero ball and here to save this team. So I'm more so on Dylan Brooks in this scenario, especially with the team that he has. So yeah, that's how I feel on it. But yeah, we'll move on to the next matchup. We have let's go to Eastern Conference, Rob. We'll flip flop a little bit, but I want to go Bucks versus Pacers series. Just recently heard that Damian Lillard, there's a possibility he can come back for Game 2, but we still, it's still not definitive yet. There's no guarantees. So right now we have a Milwaukee Bucks team without their second best player, their all-star caliber player. We already know they lost Chris Middleton. He got traded for Kyle Kuzma, and Kyle Kuzma hasn't been the greatest for them as of lately. And Bobby Portis came back, which is good, off a 25-game suspension. But I will say that I was doing some research. This was like maybe back in December. Bobby Portis wasn't playing all that well. What I have found in my research, him being a detriment to the offense. So I don't know if anything has changed since what I've read, because I believe that was back maybe either December or January. A lot of things could change in the next like 3 months. So that might be different than what it was. I don't know, but Bobby Portis is back. He does bring a level of defensive prowess, another guy that they can go to on offense. But at the end of the day, the Bucks, it's really Giannis or bust. They don't have much other guys that they can go to for shot creation. Giannis, I was looking at the numbers. He dominates the Pacers. He's averaging over 30 and 10 rebounds. But the Pacers offensively, they play a fast pace of basketball. They want to get down. What the Bucks are going to have to do is they're going to have to be exceptional in their transition defense. And what I've read is that they're not good at transitional defense at all. They're 11th in NBA defensive rating, but they're just not that good consistently on the defensive end. And I think the Pacers will win this series. I just think they have so many guys that they can go to on the offensive end. Defensively, they're not the greatest. I think they're like maybe top 15 defensive rating, but they can be had because Giannis is an amazing player and he could take advantage of the lack of paint presence from the Pacers. So I'm gonna go Pacers in 7. I just think they have too many weapons that they can go to, and I believe their offense can really take advantage of the Bucks defensively. And Giannis, he's going to be on an island by himself potentially. What about you? How do you feel?
I do not like the Pacers. I'm gonna let that be known right now. Not a fan of the Pacers. Don't like Tyrese Halliburton. Don't like that team. I don't know. It's something about the Pacers. I just don't like them. With that being said, this is a tough matchup for the Bucks. The Pacers have had the Bucks numbers in recent years.
Hmm.
As we saw, like I want to say they eliminated them. No, they beat. I believe they beat them in the playing the first year, something like that. But the Pacers have had the Bucks numbers these past recent couple years, at 1.5 years or 2 years or so. So it's gonna be tough because, like you said, they like to run out in transition, and the Bucks transition defense is to say the best, put it bestly. So honestly, it's going to have to be a crazy Giannis carry job if they want to advance past the Pacers.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm
So,
gonna trust Giannis to get it done. Give me
oh,
Bucks in
really?
7.
Bucks and
Give me
seven,
Bucks in 7.
huh?
Giannis has been playing out of his mind as of lately. It's
Yes.
a shame that he hasn't had any type of discussion or mention in the MVP convo. This dude is doing stuff we ain't never seen before. He's been consistently a top 3 player for 4 years, maybe even more. And it's just insane how the media just kind of sweeps it under the rug. Don't forget, the Bucks have been pretty hot towards the end of the season. Even after losing Damian Lillard, people would think, oh, they cooked food. They was winning games. They had a good record, and they closed out the season strong against the Pistons. Beat them 2 games in a row. Granted, one
Mhm.
game the starters ain't played, but the other game actually meant something. It locked up some seeding for them. So hey, listen, I'm gonna roll with the Buccaneers. I said Buccaneers, the Bucks, man. I'm telling you, it's something. I just feel something with this Giannis run. I feel like it can't just end in the first round. You get what I'm saying?
Oh man, you going off of feeling over logic. I can get you. You're appealing to your emotion. You're not appealing to logic. Gotcha. Me on the other hand, I'm gonna go with logic over emotion. I just think that overall, the Indiana Pacers has too much firepower. Giannis, he's gonna have a great series because again, the Indiana Pacers rank. I think it was around the end of March. They ranked 26 in points allowed in the paint. So Giannis is gonna feast in the paint. Nobody's going to be able to stop Giannis. We understand that. But at the end of the day, he needs to have a Robin, and his Robin is not seen yet. We don't know if he's going to be there. And if he comes back, is he going to be that same player? Because again, you know, he's going to be rusty. So we don't know about Damian Lillard's status, and is that even going to be enough to beat the Pacers? So I'm gonna just go with the home team in this scenario. The Pacers are the 4th seed, the Bucks are the 5th seed. I just believe that the Pacers' offensive output is going to be too much defensively for the Bucks, and that's just the way I see it, really. So let's transition. Let's go to the next team on this list. Um, Nuggets versus Clippers. This
Mm.
is another series where it's a pick 'em. People don't really know. Me personally, I think it's a lot easier to decide than what people are letting on. Um, when I look at these two teams, they are they're going in two different directions. I believe the Nuggets are regressing, while I believe the Clippers are ascending. And I believe that because of post All-Star break, the Nuggets have been losing a lot of games. The Clippers have been red hot with the addition of Kawhi Leonard, him coming back from injury. He has finally started to look like the Kawhi Leonard that we've known him to be since Toronto, since his first 2 years with the Clippers. It seems like he's healthy. It seems like he's in a groove. Kawhi Leonard has been phenomenal. That playing game versus the Warriors just lets you know how dangerous this team can potentially be when everybody is there and everybody is clicking on all cylinders. So, Zubac as well. Zubac has been a godsend for them. He's been he's having his best year by far as a pro, and might win Most Improved award too. So salute to Ivica Zubac. And then you have James Harden, who's just been the ultimate pro, been playing a
Yeah.
lot of games, might make third team All NBA this year, was an all-star. He's still playing at a high level at his age. And we already know about Tyronn Lue. He's a phenomenal coach. Um, just and then you have Norman Powell as well. Norman Powell, he when he stepped in when Kawhi was out,
Yeah.
he was phenomenal. And then he's the third person on the roster that they go to, the third option. He's still really good, can shoot the three, can make some shots. Then you have Kendrick Nunn, who's also he's that guy
Good
that
defense.
he'll play great defense for you. He can knock down a three occasionally. So yeah, those are guys that they really lean on to go to. Nicholas Batum, he's still up there in age, but he can knock down a few shots as well. So yeah, these are guys that they rely on heavily, and they have produced for them so far since the All-Star break. They've been on a tear, and you got to tip your hat for that. They are a dangerous team, and I believe the Clippers will win this series because again, they're actually looking at the defensive rating. If I can find it, they're at the top. They're top 3 in defensive rating right now. Let me show my screen real quick. Share my screen real quick. You look at the team defense, the Clippers are the third best team in defensive rating. That's insane.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So they're not only are capable at scoring, and by the way, they're also one of the top teams in the NBA in offensive rating as well. I'll show you in a second, but like the Clippers, they're no joke. Like they're legit. When they're healthy, they can beat any team in the league. But I'm just saying, man, like I said, they're not. They're actually 15th, but anywho, they can get buckets. They're one of their offense is heavily reliant on isolation, which I mean, of course, so when you have James Harden and you have Kawhi Leonard, they like to exploit mismatches. So whoever is the weakest link on the court, they're going to try to figure out a way to get that person in isolation. And James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, maybe even Norman Powell are going to try to exploit them. That's what they want to do. It's not a whole lot of ball movement, off screen action, but they it's a winning formula for them. They've been red hot. They're the fourth seed right now. They're the home team in this scenario, and I believe the Clippers will win this series. I have them winning in this series in 7. I don't like the way the Nuggets have played. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the playoffs this year. I don't believe in Russell Westbrook at all. I think Russell Westbrook, they're going to play when Russell Westbrook's on the court and he's running the pick and roll. It's going to be a drop coverage every single time with the Veka Zubac, and they're going to dare him to shoot tough mid-range shots, and he's going to brick them most of the time. And they're going to leave him wide open for 3. Like they're not going to even care that much about Russell Westbrook shooting the 3. I just think at this scenario, Jamal Murray, he hasn't been playing all that well as of recently. A lot of that has to do with injuries. And I just think they don't have the firepower and they don't have the defensive capability to stop a Kawhi Leonard, a James Harden, Norman Powell, a Veka Zubac. These are guys that are have been playing well offensively, and I just think it's going to be very hard. I think Jokic is still going to have his numbers. He's still going to have his 30 points, 10 assists, maybe 11 rebounds. He's going to average a triple-double, but everybody else is going to be out there. He's going to be looking around like, yo, where are my soldiers at? What's going on? Christian Brown is going to play well. Aaron Gordon, I believe, might play well, but everybody else, Michael Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just going to be a bad look for them. And I believe that the Clippers, how they've been playing, it's going to be too much. And I got Clippers in 7. What about you?
I'm going to go Clippers in 6, and the reason why I'm going Clippers in 6 is because I believe the Clippers have the 3 C's in their favor. What are the 3 C's, Brian? I'm gonna let you know. The 3 C's: chemistry, coaching, and the crowd. All of that, in my opinion, are in favor of the Nuggets. I mean, the Clippers. The Clippers have the chemistry. You know, the roster has been able to survive afloat and stay afloat without Kawhi, and have gotten better since Kawhi's return. And it's just been like, man, these dudes are playing really well. Well, the Nuggets, on the other hand, dudes are in and out the lineup. Jamal Murray has been hurting, and all time. Aaron Gordon was hurt for extended time earlier in the season as well. And Russell Westbrook in and out the starting lineups. He was starting before, now he's coming off the bench. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and coaching. They fired Mike Malone and they
Yeah,
fired the
David
GM.
Altman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and while on the other end you got to go up against Ty Lue and them. And Ty Lue is a championship coach. He's one of the better coaches, top 5 coach in the league, in my opinion. And I feel like, and obviously the Clippers are home. I feel like the Clippers have been playing much better for the entire season than the Nuggets have. The Nuggets may have looked better at certain points of the season, but once the Clippers settled down, they got everything right. They just been super, super consistent, and they've been playing winning basketball. Like you said, they're top 3 in defensive rating. I know it's kind of hard because we do this thing with the Clippers. The Clippers, when they healthy, they gonna be this, and like, okay, when are they ever healthy? But this year, something does seem a little different. I ain't gonna say they're going all the way now. I already know who I'm picking to go to the finals, but the Clippers should fare much better if James Harden continues to play controlled basketball. It doesn't do the James Harden thing in the playoffs where it's just like, brother, what are you doing? I think they'll be
right.
fine. And like you said, on the other end, you got Russell Westbrook. He was all right at first. Then towards the end of the season, it was just like, oh, brother, get him off the court.
Right.
And now that you see Jokic putting up 40 points in losses, and that's just not a recipe for success. You got your star player doing all this work, and you still lose. It's not amounting to any wins. Doesn't fare well for the playoffs. So I'm going Clippers in 6.
Look at the defensive rating for the Nuggets. They're 21 F 115 rating.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
They are the teams in that area. There's a lot of teams that aren't in the playoffs in that area. You guys see
Right.
like the Hawks, Bulls, Trailblazers, Raptors, Kings, Nets, Charlotte. That's not good company to be in.
Right. Right.
Especially with an inconsistent offense outside of Jokic.
Yeah. I will say that their offense did get a little bit better when they fired Mike Malone because they were leaning. I think I heard something where they were leaning more into the young guys and reducing Russ's minutes, so that might have helped a little bit. And if you remember, David Altman, he is the guy that implemented the Jokic offense, so he's been there for a minute, right? And what happens is that they played one way, and then he comes in and he implements this offense that his dad, I think he's a Hall of Fame coach for the NBA, so he's a nepo baby, but yeah, he implements this offense and they win a championship. Like Mike Malone, as great as he was, that wasn't his offense. That's David Altman's offense. So him being the head coach, they probably realized that, hey, we need to get more guys involved, less Russell Westbrook, more young guys, and it's helped a little bit, but ultimately, I just think in this matchup, it's not going to help at all. So that's how I feel.
And the Clippers are a pretty big team. Like they aren't small.
No,
at all. They got a lot of size on the court, and they're going to be able to throw defenders at all the other guys on the Nuggets outside of Jokic. So we're going to have to see how they manage that. They really don't have any shot creators outside of Jamal Murray. Like Jokic is going to be running most of the offense. Is going to be having the task of setting up guys nearly every possession. I don't know if that's a sustainable model against this type of team for 7 games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the Rockets, when they won the championship, they didn't have a whole lot of shot. It was like Jamal Murray and
you mean
Nikola Jokic. Yeah, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. They were just otherworldly in the playoffs, and everybody else played their roles effectively. They did have maybe 1 or 2 role players that played that, again, they weren't the greatest shot creators in the world, but they were able to drive to the basket. They were able to get good looks from
KCP.
3. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce Brown. So a guy like that, they're missing, but they never really had a whole lot of shot creation. They never really had a whole lot of playmaking outside of Jokic. It's just in this scenario, Jamal Murray has injuries and his play has completely gone down since 2023. It's not going to help him at all against this team. The Clippers are a lot
And plus,
older, I will say.
he's not like Jamal Murray. He's relying on a lot of tough buckets these days. He's not really getting by his defender or like that.
Right.
Sometimes when he's dribbling, it's like, oh, he's still in the same place he started. So it's like, well, now you're relying on uncontested shots to go in, and it's just like,
Yeah, because if you remember, he would get a lot of he was getting a lot of separation in 2023,
yeah.
and as time goes by, injuries start to pile up. His his ability to get separation becomes a lot smaller, and it's more of those tough shots. He would hit a lot of those tough shots in 2023, but again, he was in rhythm. He was able to get easy baskets in the mid range and even at 3 point range because of his ability to create and his quickness. But now it seems like it's a lot of very tough shots, a lot of tough twos, a lot of tough baskets when he's driving, a lot of tough contested 3 pointers. So it's going to be very, very, very hard for him to get in a rhythm, especially when Kendrick Nunn is guarding him. So, yeah, Clippers all day. Clippers. They're an old team, but it doesn't matter against the Nuggets because the Nuggets don't have enough dudes in their arsenal as well. So, all right, let's move on to the Knicks versus Pistons because this is a series. I ain't gonna lie, the Knicks are. There's still a lot of unanswered stuff about the Knicks because of the injuries that they have dealt with this entire season. And I mean, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, they've never really had their entire team intact for the whole year until now. And against the Pistons, they never really had all their dudes. And the Pistons, Kay Cunningham, all these guys, they just dominated the Knicks this entire season, but we've never seen them. We never seen the Pistons go up against a fully loaded New York Knicks team. And I believe now when we get to this matchup, the addition of Mitchell Robinson is going to be huge for the Knicks this series. I was doing some research, and their defense have just gone up significantly when Mitchell Robinson is on the floor. Like they jumped from I think it was maybe 116 defensive rating to 112. Like he really adds a whole lot of value to that defense. I think at 116 they were in the 20s defensively. But when they jump to 112, they're in the top 10. So he adds a lot of value to that defense. And why? Because Karl-Anthony Towns is not a true center. He can't guard. He's not a good player when he's defending the rim and when you're asking him to switch a whole lot. There's a lot of responsibilities that comes with being a center on an NBA team in 2025. This is not 2000 where, not a lot of guys can really shoot and you don't have to really worry about the point guard, the center, the small forward, the power forward stretching the floor and you have to go out there and guard them at the perimeter. Nowadays, you need to be able to do it all. You need to be a good help side defender. You need to be able to roam. You need to be able to protect the paint. You have to be able to be good at defending the post. There's so many responsibilities when it comes to being a good defender in this day and age if you're a center. And that's why Anthony Davis always complains about, I need a 5. I need a true 5. Mitchell Robinson really helps Karl-Anthony Towns because now Karl-Anthony Towns can go back to his true position, which is the 4. And Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't have a whole lot of responsibility. He could just be that great scorer for you that he's been this entire year. But here's the thing, Brian, and I was watching the Knicks. Number one, their offensive identity is not set in stone. We really don't know their offensive identity. Like I saw a quote from Tom Thibodeau. He said, "We want to be balanced. Balanced offense." You're still like, okay, what does that really mean? And it's like, okay, when you watch them, They want to get easy baskets in the paint to Karl Towns, give him post ups, and they also want to get some nice shots in the outside as well. And they also want to get everybody involved. So when you watch the Knicks, you notice that they're calling plays for almost everybody on the court, like OG Anunoby, Karl Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. Like everybody is getting involved in offense, but there's not a set role for each player. We don't know really any of these guys' role. Like, okay, is Mikal Bridges, is he the guy, the 3-and-D guy? He's going to stand in the corner. He's going to be the guy that does all the dirty work, takes on the best player on the opposing team. Is that OG Anunoby? We really don't know the roles of these players. We know that Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns are the best two guys, the number one and number two options, but we don't know what their roles are. And I believe that's probably why the Knicks haven't had a consistently good offense, consistently had been on a groove. They've won 50 games, but it's never been all that pretty. And when they go up against the elite teams, they just fall short. And I believe that's because there's no role set for these players. Like everybody feels like they're the man on that offense. OG probably feels like I'm the man. Mikal Bridges probably feels like I'm the man. Karl Towns, Jalen Brunson. And there's no defining roles for these guys. And that's the problem. And defensively, I'm still confused by like why are they so bad defensively? Because OG and Mikal Bridges are supposed to be these great lockdown defenders. And yet they still have a problem defending the perimeter. That's why I say Mitchell Robinson being inserted into the fold is very important. To keep it short and sweet, I have the Knicks in 7 this series. I believe with all their guys back, they just have too much firepower offensively and defensively for the Pistons to prevail over the Knicks. I understand Cade has been playing well against them. I understand that the Pistons defense is no joke. Like they're in the top 10. They're very physical. They're athletic. They're strong. Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, Azar Thompson. Yeah, these guys are no joke. But ultimately, I think the lack of shooting prowess from the Pistons, and they're still trying to figure out their offense. They're heavily relying on Cade Cunningham. Heavily. I just think the Knicks are just too talented to lose against the Pistons. But it's going to go 7 games.
Yes, I do believe this series is going to go 7 games. Also, I will pick the Knicks because, like you said, the firepower, and we haven't really seen them play altogether healthy. And I think when you was talking about we don't know the identity of the guys on the team and what their set roles is, I do believe that is attributed to the fact that there's been dudes in and out the lineups throughout the season. You know, Jalen Brunson was out for an extended period of time. Then Cat was out. I think OG might have been out as well. And then also Mikal Bridges. Listen, he ain't been playing like he got traded for 5 first-round picks. I'll tell you that much because brother, I think he's shooting like sub 35% from 3. And it just hasn't been that great of an addition like they would probably hope for. But on the opposite end, the Pistons are a very young team. Um the Pistons coach is Bickerstaff, right?
JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah,
Yep.
JB Bickerstaff. He got them boys playing, and Cade is looking like one of the low key. He ain't far from being one of the probably the best PG in the Eastern Conference. And Asor Thompson, they got a lot of good young guys, man. But on the opposite end, the Knicks. Have you seen their record against above 500 teams?
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
It is 15 and 23 according to ESPN. That is bad, especially for a roster. You look at it, it's like, oh man, they got dudes everywhere. And you're like, okay, why can't they figure out? Why can't they beat the good teams? And it just seems like they just shrink. It seems like the team isn't physical. It seems like they're soft. They go against these team, and Detroit is very physical. They're gonna get on you. They play that Motor City style basketball. They tough. And Cade Cunningham's game, in my opinion, is suited well for the playoffs. He plays with control. He's going to work the mid range. His 3-point shooting can be a little better, but he's going to control the offense. He's going to keep everybody on point and on schedule. But I believe the firepower of the Knicks will click throughout the series and they'll win at home in Game 7.
Okay, that sounds good. There's an article I want to show real quick that
Okay.
pretty much talks about exactly the problems that I have with the Knicks offensively. So this is from SNY, which is I believe this might be the coverage, the team that this is not the team. This is not the people that actually showcase the team on League Pass. But regardless, they cover the Knicks.
Sportsnet New York.
Yeah, they cover the Knicks, and they talked a lot about. It said, look back on last year's team, which knew exactly how it wanted to win games, defend physically, dominate the glass, and keep pace and turnovers down to win the possession game, and run the offense through its core engines, Brunson and Julius Randle, then our Isaiah Hartenstein. What does this year's team want to do? Early on, it seemed clear: blitz teams with their high passing, high movement, and high scoring offense, scrapping enough on the other end to give themselves the edge. But the offense devolved into hero ball and low assist rates as the year progressed. That just lets me know that, again, with the injuries and no defining role, we don't know definitively what this offense entails. We're still wondering what the hell it is. Now, they said New York gained its defensive identity when Robinson returned and Brunson got hurt, but haven't looked connected in recent games. So, again, and then I also heard with Jalen Brunson being out, a lot of the other guys started to get their offensive game back. Like they were able to get some sort of rhythm. But then when Brunson came back, they had to adjust on the fly. So it just seems like this entire season they've constantly had to try to adjust to something. And they just haven't gotten all the way there yet. They haven't gotten to a perfect group. But guess what? They still won 50 games, which is insane to me. That just speaks to the level of the talent of the team. But yeah, we both agree the Pistons versus the Knicks is the way to go. And we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the last game. Well, not the last game. We'll get to the other games, but we're not going to really like do a deep analysis on it. But here's the last game we're gonna like do a real deep analysis on, and it's my game. It's my team. Timberwolves versus Lakers. So the Timberwolves. Oh yeah, by the way, nobody is talking enough about how well the Timberwolves have exceeded expectations. Now, I get it. You know, we're in this sort of realm where we're so fixated on who's going to win the championship, but we have to acknowledge the fact that the Timberwolves traded away their second best player, Karl Anthony Towns, all NBA caliber player, mind you. Got back DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, not the greatest thing in the world, but they still stayed afloat. They still were able to win enough games to become the 6th seed. They won nearly 50 games. We have to salute Chris Finch, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, all these guys that were doubted. People doubted this team. And it didn't look pretty at first, but as the season progressed, this team got better and better. They're now one of the better offenses in the NBA. And I was reading something where, yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is an amazing player. But what trading Karl Anthony Towns did, you got DiVincenzo, you got Julius Randle. They want to have it to where it's a 4 out, which is 4 guys behind the 3-point line, and you have one big in the paint, which is Gobert. And with Karl Anthony Towns there, although he can shoot threes, he still plays more of that traditional style where you can't go a 4 out and 1 in. So when you look at this Timberwolves team now, with the addition of Julius Randle to a degree, right, and DiVincenzo, they have more shooting capability. So now you can stretch the floor a lot more, and all you have to be concerned about is Rudy Gobert in the paint. So that's why I think they were able to do a lot better offensively because they run a pace and space offense, which is a lot of driving and kicking. And so, and they run a good amount of pick and rolls. Here's my thing with the Timberwolves and their offense, because I believe the story of this series is going to be the Lakers defense and the Timberwolves offense. They've been really successful offensively with their drive and kick, with their pace and space, but they don't run a whole lot of plays. I
Mm.
was watching their game against the Grizzlies, I believe it was, and they had a couple of stagger screen plays. You know what I mean? But they don't run a whole lot of plays. And don't get me wrong, the NBA, you're not going to see a whole bunch of plays like it's college. But with them, it is very alarming that they are just like, hey, get pick and roll, drive and kick. That's it. It's not flashy at all. You're not going to see a whole bunch of flare screens. You're not going to see a whole bunch of off ball movement from Anthony Edwards. And that's my problem with this offense is that they put so much on the shoulders of Anthony Edwards to create offensively that against a great team, a great defense, or even good defense, they can key in on that because Anthony Edwards is not a great facilitator. He's not a great playmaker. He's not a great passer. He's average at best. So with that being said, I believe this matchup plays into the hands of the Lakers defensively because the Lakers, they want to clog the middle, which the Timberwolves like to do a lot of. They like to attack the middle. And the Lakers are going to just clog the middle, prevent the Timberwolves from getting anywhere in the middle. They're going to force Ant-Man to drive to the baseline, which is going to put him in very bad situations. Julius Randle as well. I think Julius Randle, he's going to be the X factor of the series. He's going to have to be the X factor of the series because the Lakers are going to leave him open a lot of times, and Jaden McDaniels as well because they're not the best 3-point shooters, and we've seen them in the playoffs just be liabilities offensively. I just think Ant-Man's inability to play make is going to be a huge problem for him because the Lakers are going to blitz him a lot. The Lakers are going to prevent him from driving in the middle. They're going to put Dorian Finney-Smith. They're going to put Jerry Vanderbilt on. They're going to put Roy Hashimura. They're going to put a lot of tall, athletic guys that can move their feet. And it's going to be a huge problem with Ant-Man. And I believe the other guys are going to have to hit their shots. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I believe he'll hit his shots. But Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels, I'm not confident in that. And I believe that's going to hurt them a lot. And Rudy Gobert, he is going to be taken out a lot of times because they're going to have to play small ball. The Lakers, what do they do? What are they good at? They're good at playing small ball. And Rudy Gobert, it's not that he's terrible at switching. So let's say they're switching on defense and Rudy Gobert is guarding Luka, and so now he has to guard Luka on the perimeter. It's not that. It's when Rudy Gobert is taken out of the paint and he has multiple responsibilities that he has to do defensively. So that means he has to be a help side defender. He has to recover, right? That's going to be a problem because he's slow-footed. Because he's like damn near 7'4". He's going to be played off of the court, and that's going to play in the Lakers' hand. And I believe the Lakers, I see them winning in 5. I think this is a perfect matchup for them. The Timberwolves will get red hot from 3, and they'll win one game. But ultimately, I think the Lakers' offensive talent and defensively, I think they have the personnel, and I believe just their game plan just it's going to be too much for the Timberwolves to handle. So give me Lakers in 5.
Okay. Okay, Lakers in 5. Okay, Shannon Sharp. I'm going to go Lakers in 6. I do think this series will be a lot closer than people would think because people look at the Timberwolves record like, oh, they're not that good. But like if you actually watch them play and they had to work through a lot of identity issues on offense, I feel like they started getting it going as the season got progressed, and it's still not perfect. We still got Julius Randle. He could be every now at times, but I do believe Anthony Edwards has gotten much better as an offensive player this year. He's shooting crazy splits for someone that's taking as much shots as he is. And I see a lot of people on Twitter say, "Oh, we're just going to double Anthony Edwards." Stop! Don't do that. Anthony Edwards is the most blitz player in the league, and he's still getting his game off. And you do not want to give the opportunity. I know you say he's not the best playmaker in the world, but he has gotten better than where he was previously. And he will hit the open guys for easy shots. And you do not want to let guys like Nas Reed find a rhythm, because those dudes will kill you if you let them get hot game after game after game. Um, and I think a lot of people expect Luka to just straight kill the Timberwolves, which very much is a possibility. He has done well. But let's break down why he's been doing well. Last year, when he was on the Mavericks, still crazy to say, even after all this time after the trade, but they had two very paint dominant bigs. They had Derek Lively, and then they had who's the other big they had last year? I can't remember.
It's your boy from he used to play for the Wizards.
Oh, Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford. Those dudes was locking down the paint, so it forced a lot of disarray with the Timberwolves offense, because they like to attack the paint. Like you said, they like to go attack the middle. And Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't that great during that series, and Luka was able to feast on Karl-Anthony Towns trying to have to go out and contest shooters in the corner while also trying to play in the paint, because you just can't leave Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively open. But the Timberwolves play a lot smaller this year, and so they have a little more flexibility on the defensive end, to where they don't have to dedicate two bigs in the paint at all times, because y'all only have Jackson Hayes, and LeBron's going to play perimeter. And I'm going to say the X factor for the Lakers is going to be Austin Reeves. I feel like the Timberwolves are going to do their hardest to deny LeBron the ball, and Austin Reeves is going to have to step up as the third ball handler, shot creator in this series, and get some. And especially down the stretch of the games, I believe Austin Reeves probably have to be the most important guy down the stretch to get a bucket, because they're going to throw their best at Luka and LeBron. It might not work, but when Rudy Gobert's playing, you should look at LeBron's numbers against the Timberwolves when Rudy Gobert plays. It's not the greatest in the world. Like, I think the last game he played against Timberwolves, he had 33, I believe. I don't know if Rudy was playing that game or not, but if he was, then hey, everybody, it's LeBron James. He's people's GOAT for a reason. But I believe Austin Reeves is probably going to be the most important piece for the Lakers down the stretch of the game. I think Luka and LeBron will be. You got the numbers pulled up right here. Yeah, see, I don't know if Rudy was playing. I know see 33 right there. Yeah, 33, like 10, 16, like that's pretty below average for LeBron James. And so I'm saying Austin Reeves, he's gonna have to really step up. He's been doing really good this season. He's probably not even probably. He is the best third option in the league. He would be a high end number two on majority of teams. So I do have concerns with the Lakers defensively, though. Luka, he ain't playing no defense. 2025, he ain't playing no defense. LeBron James, he plays defense when he wants to, but I believe I saw a quote about him. Is it his hamstring? He said
it's his hip flexor.
Hip flexor. He was talking about how he could play and all that stuff. So, but he's 40 years old. Like he's obviously going to play it up like he's fine. But he's 40 years old. And I know he's like a super soldier. He has super soldier serum in his body, but eventually you can't be Father Time. And like I said, the Lakers, y'all have Doe and Vanderbilt, but do you really want Vanderbilt playing in like heavy minutes in the playoffs when he doesn't get?
No, he's not going to play heavy minutes. He's not going to play. He's going to play about 10 minutes. He's going to play about 10
so
minutes.
So I'm very concerned. I feel like this is going to be a shootout type series. And at the end, it's going to come down to who can get the most buckets down the stretch in the fourth quarter. The last 5 minutes, I think the last 7 minutes each game of this series is going to be hectic, because it's going to be a band for band off. And I believe the Lakers have more firepower on that end, because outside of Ant, who's really creating a whole bunch of shots for themselves on the Timberwolves, you know? So I'm going Lakers in 6, unfortunately.
Uh, you said it's gonna be a shootout. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I might have to disagree
You
with you
said
on
you just
that
said
one.
you just said the Timberwolves one of the best offensive teams in the league.
Yeah, I did say that, but there's more context. There's context behind that. Have you seen their schedule since the All Star break? Have you seen
I
their
mean,
schedule?
I
It's
was just
it's a
looking.
lot
They
of
play some teams.
it's a lot of guys. Remember when I showed you that defensive rating for the Nuggets? There's a lot of those
Mm-hmm.
teams around that range, defensively wise, that the Timberwolves were facing. Don't get me wrong, they're a good offensive team, but there's some context behind that. There's context behind why they were a great offensive team. And Anthony Edwards,
Y'all was in that same range.
look at this. Look at this. Averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in 4 games versus the Lakers this season. I'm just saying, man. I'm keeping it 1,000. This is just facts. I like Anthony Edwards, but against the Lakers, he hasn't been the greatest, especially with this lineup, because of the swarming defense that we have, which is protect the middle, don't allow them to go to the middle. I'm telling you, it's going to be difficult for Ant. It's going to be difficult. It ain't going to be a walk in the park. And the other guys, whoever, which is probably either Randall or Jaden McDaniels, they're going to have to knock down their corner threes, because we're going to leave them open in the corner, and that is just that. It's just that I just don't believe that it's going to be that easy for the Timberwolves to generate offense against the Lakers. And I think in this stage with the personnel, this is perfect for LeBron. Hopefully the hip flexor isn't too concerning, but if he's healthy, dog, he's been playing amazing defense this year. And I believe that with the personnel that we have and the fact that Luka and Austin Reeves are amazing playmakers and amazing shot creators, it will allow LeBron to focus a lot more on the defensive end. And what LeBron is great at, he's great as a roamer. He's like a free safety on this defense. And with the way that the Lakers defense has looked before that daunting schedule in March, they were number 2 in defensive rating. So I believe at this point, with health on their side, I believe this defense will be a lot better, and I have Lakers and 5 on this one. I don't know, man. You think it's going to be a high-scoring event? We'll see. We will see. But I disagree with you on that one. So, yeah, we'll end it on that note. Let's move on real quick. We have 2 more games, 2 more matchups on the docket. We have the Thunder versus Grizzlies. We don't really need to talk too much about this series. We both know the Thunder are just hands down so much better than the Grizzlies offensively. The Grizzlies, they lost their coach. Just defensively, offensively, Ja Morant is a fantastic player, but Lou Dort, Carson Wallace, Cason Wallace, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Then you have Chet Holmgren protecting the paint. You have Austin, Alex Caruso. They just have too many on-ball defenders that they can throw to defend Ja Morant. And I just think it's going to be too much for Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr., you already know like how flawed he is offensively. And he doesn't rebound at all. And Zach Edey, my God, Zach Edey, he's horrible. He's terrible. He is a liability. I was watching a game. I believe it was the Timberwolves
Was it
versus
the Warriors game? Oh,
no, Timberwolves versus Grizzlies game. Oh yeah, I mean we all saw that Warriors game.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. The Timberwolves were literally running so many just action, like they were targeting Zach Edey almost every time down the floor, and they were getting a bucket almost every single time. It was either a foul, a bucket, almost a bucket. Like they were cooking Zach Edey. It was horrible. And I just think I don't understand why he's starting. He shouldn't even be getting more than 20 minutes. He is that bad defense. And we A lot of people pointed to Zach Edey is going to be a problem in the NBA. He's slow-footed. Yeah, he's tall, but he's limited. He's limited, and they drafted him top 10, I believe, in the draft, which is just atrocious. It's outrageous, but it is what it is. That's who they thought it of. So we don't really need to talk much, but who do you have in this series? I mean,
Thunder is going to wash these dudes. I mean, it's not even going to be that. It's not even going to be fun to watch unless you like watching horror. It's going to be a horror flick on the court. Thunder, they just been they. This is a historic team. If you're looking at all the stats and the analytics and all that, this is a historic team. The Grizzlies they scraped by. They had to play. Who they play last night? To get into the playoffs.
The Mavericks. They played the Mavericks.
Like, come on now. Yeah, and then the head coach that people have been touting as this genius. I haven't been seeing it personally. In the Grizzlies offense, like you can't rely on like Jaren Jackson Jr. He's good, but like in the playoff setting, it's just like, what does he really do well? I mean, he does all this stuff stretches the floor, but like when you playing against teams that can defend, that's like, okay, now what? You ain't rebounding. Yeah, you play some defense, but it seems like everybody gets what they want against the Grizzlies. And then John Morant, he trying to do step back 3-pointers like he in the world. I'm like, that's not your game. What are you doing? And it's like I don't know. I had some hopes for the Grizzlies before the season started, but now it's like everything is just unraveling at this point. I think the Thunder they're gonna boat race these dudes. I got Thunder at 4.
I got them in sweep as well.
Yeah, it's bring the brooms out. The Grizzlies, they ain't ready. They ain't ready, man.
So
Zach Edey is horrible. Like you say, slow-footed. Sometimes it looks like it's his first time picking up a basketball. I'm like, what is he doing out there?
Yeah,
like,
bad hands too.
Not physical. Like, why are you getting out rebounded? It's just. I don't know where the Grizzlies gonna go from this, because you might have to make some hard decisions. Because as it stands right now, the way this roster's looking, Desmond Bane, like he's a spot up shooter. He doesn't really create his own offense. He's big and brolic for no reason. I just like, man, let's just get the Grizzlies over with. The Grizzlies, it was fun, but it's just over. They're gonna have to get rid of some people.
Yeah, they invested too much money on dudes that are really not capable of living up to those contracts. I think Jaren Jackson Jr., he's a 3 in any championship scenario. He's the third option, not the second option. And Desmond Bane, he's a quality player, but I wouldn't want him as one of my go-to options. I wouldn't want him as my top 2, top 3, maybe even top 4. Like he's a good player, but man, the things that you need him to do is just too much for his offensive capability. I just think they're asking a lot. And John Morant, he should not be your number 1 option if you're trying to win the championship. That's just me. So I just think they need another dude. They need another dude that they can look to and say, hey, he's going to be the reason we go all the way to the championship. They need a MVP caliber player. They need a number 1 option caliber player, and they don't have that in this scenario. There's too many guys that are being required to do things that they're just not capable of doing. And I just think that's why the Memphis Grizzlies never have a high ceiling, in my opinion. They'll make the playoffs, but the fact that they're still relying on these dudes to do things that they just are not capable of doing is why they'll never succeed until they get somebody who can deliver for them. And that's just that. And it's going to be a sweep yet again. And that's that. So let's move on. We have the Celtics versus the Magic. I think this is a series. They'll go 5, in my opinion, because I believe, funny enough, things are very weird. So I believe what's going to happen is that it's going to be one of those games where the Magic are just going to get red hot from 3, like just out of nowhere. And I believe they'll still win game. I've seen it happen before. I remember in 2019, similarly enough, the Magic, they played the eventual champions Toronto Raptors, and they got 1 game off of the Toronto Raptors with that limited
I remember that game.
offensive talent. So yeah, it's possible. I think in this scenario, I think Celtics win this in 5, and the only reason they lose is because of just the 1 game They get bored or something like that, and the Magic get red hot from three or something like that. So that's how I look at it. You have Franz Wagner and you have Paulo Banchero. They could do some things. That's just how I look at it. But for the most part, the Celtics are clearly the better team. It's not even close.
Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna go Celtics. Is they just have more firepower. They got the better coach. Joe Mazzulla is a psychopath, and he's a phenomenal coach. So I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna trust the better dudes in this scenario. And I noticed that, like, speaking of the Magic, there's a lot of teams constructed in the league that are consisted of multiple high-end number twos, and it's not going to lead to any success, in my opinion. Like teams like the Magic, like Franz Wagner and Paolo, good players. Do you really want one of them being your number one dude?
All right, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Paulo.
I know it's hard. It's hard to find
third
superstar
year.
players in the Paolo.
Paulo could be that guy.
Like Paolo.
Paulo could be that guy.
He did come from Duke, but
I know one thing. He ain't no
let
Brandon
me keep it a
Ingram.
stack about Paolo. I don't know if it's still this way now, but earlier in the season, like George Niang said, keep shooting that mid range and see how far it gets you. His mid range splits weren't good. I'm gonna just keep it real. He was shooting like 30% from mid range.
No, he's gotten a lot better.
He's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If your game is predicated on mid range, and your splits was looking as bad as his was earlier in the season, you ain't getting far in this league as far as winning basketball.
Matter of fact,
but if you got the stats, pull them up.
I got the stats right now. Give me 1 second.
Beyond 16 feet.
He's been playing really good post All-Star break.
Okay.
Look, 29, 7.8, 4.5, 6, and 24 games played. Yeah.
Does that say 23% from the field?
Where does it say 23% from the field? Oh yeah,
that game against
Memphis. Memphis game. Yeah,
that's it. That could be out. That looks like an outlier compared to the other numbers.
Oh, look, 30, look, 29, 25, 34, 43, 24, 31, 30, 30, 32, 35, 24, 20. Like, yo, he's been hooping, man. He's been hooping since the All-Star break.
Okay, fine.
He's been hooping since the All-Star break.
I'm telling you, man. He needs a little more development.
Yeah, I mean, this is third year, bro.
Because it's third year in the league, and he was hurt earlier in the
season.
Yeah,
he was hurt for a good amount of the season. Yeah.
So I like Paulo's game. I'm a ethical hoops enjoyer, so I like Paulo's game. It reminds me a lot of Melo. But
I like Franz Wagner's too. I like him.
Franz Wagner, he's nice.
I think he could be a number 2 on the championship team.
Absolutely.
He's actually
really good. But it's just the Celtics, they just got too much firepower.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm expecting them to play the Cavs in the conference finals. So yeah. Wait, we didn't even talk about the Cavs series. Who are they playing?
We will. I was just, I just wanted to talk about the Celtics versus Magic real quick. But yeah, man, I just think again, like this series, they have the Magic have some talent. They have 2 dudes that can get their own shots. I believe this is a series.
Problem is the other dudes around them aren't shooters at all.
No.
Anthony Black, he's not a shooter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who Jalen Suggs? I mean,
I think he's out for the season. I believe it is. So we're not even gonna see Jalen Suggs. We're not even gonna see Jalen Suggs. But yeah, like
KCP.
Yeah, they do have KCP. Yep, they do have KCP.
He can hit some every now and then. Yeah, the defense. Yeah, they got good defense.
They're like number 2 in defensive rating, I think it is.
Yeah, because they got a lot of length. They got a lot of size on the court.
Yeah,
they aren't very small. So
with Wendell Carter,
that's good for defense. Yeah, Wendell Carter. Like they don't have a lot of shooters.
No, they don't.
And like as playmaking for guards is kind of lackluster.
Right.
So they're gonna have to figure something out roster wise and to really get that offense more efficient because the name of the game nowadays is 3-point. You got to be efficient from 3, and when you don't have a bunch of shooters on the court, this would have been a killer team back in the 2010s. But this day and age in ball, not so much.
Yeah, they need a guy that can play make for them, and they need a stretch big. but the defense is there. They have the two shot creators. They just need a playmaker. They need a guy that can facilitate for them, get easy baskets for other people, and get like a stretch five. Get a stretch five that's going to open up things for Paulo and Franz Wagner, and I think that's what they really need. Defensively is not a question mark for them. It's offensively.
Right.
So, all right, that'll do it. And then we have Cavs. The last game on the docket, we have Cavs versus the Heat. Yeah, the Heat, Miami Heat, because they just won last night, the play-in game. I'm gonna say this: Cavs in 5. The Heat are, congratulations, you made the playoffs yet again. They're like the Pittsburgh Steelers to me. It's just like every year, they're gonna make the play-in, they're gonna make the playoffs, but we know they do not have a high ceiling at all. It's very low because of the offensive limitations, the play style that they have. They're going to compete, but ultimately they just don't have enough guys at their disposal. They have a great coach. He's won championships, but they don't have the dudes. They don't have the necessarily offensive talent to really compete on an elite level. Jimmy Butler, that whole era with Jimmy Butler, with Bam and them, they made it to the finals. They made it to the conference finals. That was their peak. That was their ceiling. Like they were able to get the most out of that group. But it seems like now they're just, I don't know, they're just stuck in the same, like,
it's purgatory. That's what it is.
It is purgatory. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Pat Riley is 1,000%. Okay, no matter, I don't care what he said. Pat Riley is 1,000% comfortable trading water every year and trying to sell hope to the fans that, hey, maybe we just get into the dance. Anything like, no, the team's ceiling is very, very apparent, and they're going to get cooked by the Cavs. They'll probably steal a game at home, but other than that, this team just doesn't have enough. Like, honestly,
they don't have
went
enough.
to overtime against the Hawks, and we all know the Hawks have a multitude of issues right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Trae Young decided to ask out in the offseason. But as it stands right now, their exposure can only do so much. You got to rely on Tyler Hero being your number one dude, and Bam Adebayo, very underwhelming performances at times. Outside of them two, you got Andrew Wiggins. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Let's just end this Heat foolishness. They need to tear that thing down and build it back up from the ground up. Because y'all just playing with the fans' emotions at this point.
Yeah, you're yeah. It's like it's a waste of time at this point. Like, can we just ban the Heat from the playoffs for a few years? Like, if they're the 8th seed or 7th seed, just ban them, or even the play-in as well. Because I'm tired of
we play the series via 2K simulation.
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing them, bro. Like, I'm tired of seeing this boring team every single year. It's like the Steelers. It's like, bro, okay, yes, you're winning games, but damn, like, can y'all be exciting? Can we get some intrigue from you? Is that all you care about? Is just, okay, we made the playoffs. Yeah, we're getting that extra check that we would not get if we didn't.
2-game revenue.
Yeah, you get the extra 2-game revenue. Like, oh my God, yes, congratulations. But damn, like, you don't have no ceiling at all. Like, the ceiling is low as hell. You know what I mean?
Anyhow, like, what? Like, they don't really have a direction either. Like, where do they go from this? Like, they don't. I don't think they don't want to make any trades for any star players, and their drafting isn't that great. So, like, where do they go from here?
Yeah. I will say that I will give Spoelstra and Pat Riley a little bit of credit for not trading Tyler Hero, because he was an all-star this year and he's been playing well. But man, like, him as your number one, I want him as like my number 3. I don't want him as my number 1. He's a good player, but number 1, bro. And then Bam Adebayo,
Hero, in my opinion, he's in that like Jordan Poole tier to me.
I don't know. All right.
He's better than Jordan Poole.
I think Jordan. I don't know about. I think Jordan Poole is below. I think Jordan
Poole as a 3. That's good work right there.
Unless Jordan Poole has improved significantly compared to last year, he's had
some improvement.
He has. Man. I don't know.
I think he
Anywho,
averaged. Yeah, but I think he averaged 20 this year as compared to like 17 last year.
regardless, like Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, they should be your number 3 on a contending team. I don't want them as my 1 and 2. Anywho, I have Cavs in 5 in this series, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
not even relatively close. I
I'm
don't even
going the
need to really
same
talk
way.
about the Cavs. I don't even really talk about the Cavs.
Kenny Atkinson,
Um.
salute.
So yeah, those are our predictions for the NBA playoffs. We talked a lot. We went to a lot of detail in a lot of these playoffs, in these series, except some three series we just mentioned because is really lopsided. But regardless, that is our predictions for the NBA playoffs for the first round. We will see how things go, and we'll see you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. Check out our other channel, our main channel, the Courtside Podcast NFL. The links will be in the description below. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of Courtside Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.
And hold on, one last thing is I see some people in the stream. If we are about to go live on our NFL channel to talk NFL draft and things of that nature. So if you're interested in NFL draft week coming up this week, go over to the Courtside View NFL channel
Right.
and watch
Check
the
that out
stream
as
there.
well. Also follow us on Twitter. We post all the
Yes.
links to the stuff. So check that out. All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace. All right.